been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life.
Welcome to Darren and Sterling here at ESPN Kansas City, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM, 1510.com, and Facebook live in studio on a very, very cold Monday, but it is a victory Monday. We have Leabo joining us in studio. Fellas, how you guys doing?
Go ahead, he wants me to start. All right, here's the deal. Darren was right. He was the one who said you don't ever bet against Nick Saban in Alabama. I already said it on 810. I'm saying it again here now. I don't know what else you want to do.
I don't know if I heard it enough.
He called me during the game in the
third
half.
He's the worst. If you ever lose a bet to Darren.
I didn't bet.
I didn't bet either. But if he's ever right, you get a phone call. Doesn't matter what time it is.
Hold on, I will call you if I'm wrong. I will call you if I'm wrong.
I don't know.
No, I have never gotten that phone call.
Well, he's never wrong. He's never wrong. Well, there you go. Is that enough? I don't know what else you want from me.
We might need to post it on 810WHB.com.
I'm not posting it on 810WHB.com. I said it right here on the Darren and Sterling show.
Well, they were going to hear it regardless. They were going to hear that anyway.
Yeah, it was. Listen, I was wrong. I was wanting to believe that Nick Saban and Alabama were dead.
Well,
I think I was
hoping.
I was hoping it into truth.
Nick Saban kind of made us feel like that too, because Nick Saban hasn't been super high on Bama. The whole thing. He's underplays it.
Blame the rest of the SEC for not putting them out of our misery. They wouldn't have been in this damn thing, and now they're going to win another title.
Well, I mean,
Georgia's going to win the title.
Georgia ain't winning anything.
Oh man!
Not with Stetson Fleming Bennett the fourth.
Let's start there first. Obviously, with the CFP is lining up. Alabama's going to take on undefeated Cincinnati. That's going to be in the Sugar Bowl down at Arlington. I wish I was there for that game. But also, we've got Georgia taking on Michigan in the Orange Bowl. Both those games take place on New Year's Eve, and of course, we'll be airing those games over on 810 WHB. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, they are. Those semifinals will be on there. I think coverage might start about 2, something like that. There'll be a little pregame show, but that'll all be on there.
But being that as man, of course, initially you talked about betting it. I talked about betting against Saban.
I don't bet.
For me, even going against Nick Saban, it was just one of those things where yes, Georgia looked good, but as I mentioned, as we talked about last week, I just thought that the quality of competition from Alabama's side was much better than what than what Georgia was playing. But then also, even if you look at the Auburn game, they talk about the Iron Bowl, they talk about how they struggled. I look at it just like the AFC West or like Pittsburgh and Baltimore. I mean, you have rivalries that just supersedes the records and stuff like that. And I always felt that Saban knew he'd be in a situation with the SEC championship. So they figured early on in the season they're going to be facing Georgia. So I always thought that they had a game plan for when they got to that situation. And as long as they didn't, do anything that would devolve or delve from them playing the SEC championship, I figured
Georgia is embarrassing at quarterback. You shouldn't have that be your quarterback. It's like when Alabama.
Trying to be nice about it, Leabo.
No, they're embarrassing. And Alabama was embarrassing at quarterback early in Nick Saban's career. I mean, A.J. McCarron and these guys, they were going to. Greg McElroy, what was he going to go off and win? I mean, they might have won
NFL legend A.J. McCarron.
Was he? And remember how they didn't have a kicker? They would lose games because he was
only.
Kicks?
Oh yeah,
he was only famous because of his girlfriend.
And was that the whole Brent Musburger situation?
Yeah. But no, those guys won titles, and despite the fact that they didn't have a very good quarterback, they're winning titles now because they have NFL quarterbacks who can go play, and that's why they're so much better. And right now, the fact that Georgia has Stetson Fleming Bennett IV as their starting quarterback is an indictment of their program.
Love how you use his full name just to show just how bad he is.
Stetson Fleming Bennett IV.
It sounds more like a lacrosse player.
I don't know what it sounds like. Golfer. Should be on the PGA Tour.
No, he's even too fancy for golf.
Being as may, we know Alabama.
Anyway, Alabama's great. Blah blah blah.
Michigan.
Who cares?
Are you impressed with obviously when they had the loss to Michigan State to be able to come back?
Yeah, because they probably should have won that game. They kind of blew it themselves, and maybe hardball some of his own doing by putting the freshman quarterback in. He had the fumble, but they fought back.
For 5 touchdowns, didn't he?
No, the other kids. They have this other, and Kenneth Walker's great, and he's the guy who has kind of beaten up Michigan's defense this year. Other than that, Michigan's defense has been really good. I don't see Georgia moving the ball on Michigan a bunch. So,
you see Michigan moving the ball
no,
against Georgia.
this is going to be a close game, and I guess Georgia's like an 8 or 9 point favorite. Sorry.
I'm taking Michigan with the points all day.
Yeah. On that one, and Cincinnati clearly beats Alabama outright. I'm kidding.
Well, I do want to go back. So again, we're just spend a few more moments on this, but Cincinnati, first Power 5, first team out of the Power 5 that's gone to this.
They are a Power 5. They're a Big 12 team.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost.
Well, look, they're much better.
Hey, they
than
got
Missouri.
it done. And you know what they did? They played a real schedule. They played a Big 10 team. They played and everyone thought Indiana was good early.
Yeah.
And they played Notre Dame. They went to Notre Dame and won. They deserve this.
Well, not only that, I mean, we talked about a little
and
bit.
The AAC is pretty good. I mean, they've been some legit
in
teams
Houston,
there.
I mean, and we talked a little bit about the game yesterday.
That is the Pac-12.
How the pressure for Cincinnati actually win the championship at home, because most times, like the regular Big 5, they have to go to a neutral site. So for them to do it, and you said, because you talked about how Houston might have brought 100 fans, and
the place was lit up, man. Cincinnati was ready to go.
What could have been a night game?
Well, they play when they play.
No, I'm saying because you talking about how they were blacked out and everything.
It got dark by the time the game was over there, because it didn't end till like 6, and it's that's 7 Eastern time zone, so it was dark. But they played Houston, quality team. They played Tulsa. Tulsa was very good this year. Tulsa battled a lot of people. Tulsa almost beat Oklahoma State. Tulsa played Ohio. They played. We didn't play them. Not this year.
You're thinking of Tulane.
Okay, Tulane.
But Tulsa played Ohio State pretty tough for a half, and Tulsa had Cincinnati beat. They had the ball ready to go score, and they messed it up, or the party would have been over for a Cinderella. But Cincinnati won them all, and that's the key. Now they're in there, and that's your reward. You get to go play Alabama. So go take your shot. You can't whine about it anymore. You get to go play. Lots of times these non-power teams have gotten in Fiesta Bowls, Orange Bowls, whatever, and they've won. I mean, Utah raced Alabama one time, right? Cincinnati won one time, and everyone gets excited about the Boise State game where they beat Oklahoma. Those teams were not engaged in those games the way Alabama will be engaged in a college football playoff semifinal. UCF made themselves their own trophy. They beat Auburn or somebody, Florida State. It's different when it's not
you're playing for 7th place, but this is playing for number 1 team. You're winning championship.
Cincinnati will have Alabama's full attention. It will be a different deal. But I'm rooting for fun, man. That's what I'm rooting for in this.
Chaos.
Even at 14 points, do you go with Cincinnati?
Probably not.
Cincinnati is good. I mean,
they are good, but Alabama, they downshifted.
You giving
them the other day.
You giving Nick Saban about 40 days to prepare.
Yeah, their offense just Bryce is young. The quarterback has grown all year long, man. He has grown all year long, and hit that drive at the end of the Auburn game, I think, shifted him into the, they don't have Mechie is going to be hurt. He's out. So, but they got another guy. Give me another guy who can run 4-3. Come on, jump up in here and go play. So they got guys all over the place. It will be really hard for Cincinnati. They'll have to be +3 in turnovers to make it a ball game. But I'm excited about it. Give me 12 in the playoff. I want more of these games that are good, because Saturday was great. Those games really meant something. They were important. And I know the college, New Year's 6 bowls are important for money and all that stuff. But I'm telling you, they are not as engaged. Notre Dame, Oklahoma State is not going to be as engaged as it would have been if they were playing for, a spot in the final.
The playoffs is what you're saying.
Yes. Not too far. Not too far. But
until Missouri can get in somehow. So
they got to go down to 84,
64 or something.
How big would the NCAA basketball tournament have to be for Missouri to get in?
256.
I saw they're ranked in some sort of one of those ranking things, like 270 something.
That seems too high.
It's the lowest Power 5 team by a lot.
And just quick point. Had Corey's Oklahoma State Sooners won Saturday, not blown it over, just got one.
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
One more Sooners and Oklahoma State.
Yeah, together. one more yard. Would they have gotten in over Cincinnati?
I don't know. They weren't as impressive enough, really, because they were like a 10-point favorite, whatever. So maybe not. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe they should have got it. Maybe
I-
they should get in over Georgia.
Because I know
Georgia
you
won
and
a
I
title.
talked. Yeah,
I think Oklahoma State wasn't getting in, even if they win, and I think that should almost make that kid and that team feel a little better. That sucked for that kid because I think he did all he could. Sure, he may have cut back earlier. That sucks when you end up a couple inches short, and it feels like you maybe could have been the reason you could have got in.
I think he took 2 out of a turn.
No, I agree, but I think there should be some sort of consolation to help them sleep at night. I don't think they're getting in either way. The only way they were getting in was if Georgia beat Bama and Bama has 2 losses, then Bama's a team out, and then Oklahoma State was in.
I will say that anyone on the outside looking in, the way that they played would have been the Kansas City Chiefs, because that was a Sunday night game that left a lot to be desired. That was one of the few times I was disappointed that the Chiefs on the national stage looked like they did. To me, coming off of a bye week and they only scored 16 points offensively. Well, no, was it 16? Yeah, 16 points. And of course, they get 22 because of a pick 6 by Daniel Sorensen. Leabo.
That Ben Neiman made the play on.
I mean,
the dynamic duo that everybody hates.
It's funny because Andy Reid postgame was like, everybody wanted him off. Yeah, we still want him off the team. I'm like, but
no, not off the team, less playing time.
Well,
big difference.
Here was my thing. Don't make it seem like the criticism wasn't warranted, because they played horribly throughout the season, because there's a reason why you end up benching Sorensen, because again, Buffalo scored 3 straight touchdowns against them. When they focus directly. I mean, I'm sorry.
I think Daniel Sorensen
guy's not that good.
Is one of the most interesting Kansas City athletes of my lifetime.
Well, the breaking news, as you mentioned, Steve mentioned that he doesn't. It might have been you that he doesn't listen. He doesn't care what the fans say. He doesn't.
What he was saying, what he doesn't read, what he doesn't care what all, and that's the way you should be. You should care. You should care about what your teammates and your coaches think.
Oh, of course.
It doesn't really matter what we think for sure. And it doesn't matter if a fan is going to be mean to him on Instagram or something. It doesn't matter. I totally agree with that. Now,
I agree with that in
I
theory.
just think he is one of the most interesting Kansas City athletes we've ever had around here, because he has been the part of some of the highest highs, big time plays in big time games and game saving plays, and always kind of shows up somewhere. But he has been derided as a horrible player and a liability. Now, listen, this is not someone they spent a first-round draft pick on, or they traded for, or has $100 million contract. He's just a journeyman guy. I mean, he's making, I don't know, $1 million this year. Something.
I thought it was $1 million. No, I think it's 1.5.
1.5, whatever. But it's nothing. That's tip money for Frank Clark. Okay,
yeah, sure.
I mean, this is not someone who's a salary cap issue at all for the Chiefs. He got a decent contract where he was making a couple of $3-4 million a few years ago or something like that. His SPO track is kind of like down a little bell curve and up and then back down again. He didn't cost a draft pick. He didn't do anything. He's just a guy who comes in here, and it's not his fault they put him out there to play, right? He has made, some plays that if he didn't make them, they may not win games.
Sure.
And I'm not talking about just this dumb game against the Broncos. They were probably going to win that game regardless.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't hit the dude in the Browns game at the goal line last year and knock the ball through the end zone, and it ends up being the Chiefs' ball because that's the dumb rule that the NFL still has. If he doesn't make the plays against Houston when they were trying to come back from 24 down, I don't know. I mean, there's just those things, but he gets hated on. And I think this is interesting dynamic to talk about. Nobody wants to see some white guy out there running around in the defensive backfield, right? And they think he's not athletic.
I mean, if it was Jason Sehorn, it'd be different, but he ain't.
Well, I don't know. It was Jason Sehorn probably was a liability eventually at some
point. He was a Pro Bowl player.
And he was also drafted very high and blah, 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 all that stuff. But
this is Armani Watts, basically. Armani Watts was
but people look at him and they look out there and they go, Daniel Sorensen's unathletic. He can't play. He can't do things. And then every once in a while, he'll just make some play. I just think he's interesting. I'm not saying he's good, bad, or whatever. He's interesting, and he's a lightning rod for fans the way, I don't know, he gets kind of treated the way someone who is a highly drafted baseball prospect who doesn't come through. Don't put him in like some boat like he was a bonus baby. He was just a guy.
But Leabo, I don't think it's the fact that he's getting treated away. It's the fact that the coaches see he's getting burnt. And they continue to put him out there, put him in those situations.
I don't remember the last time he's burnt. It's been a while.
Buffalo
hold
game.
on. Well,
Buffalo
probably because he hasn't been starting. He hasn't been in the situation.
Well, he's in there. He's playing plenty. He's playing the right amount of plays right now, I think.
What, 40% of snaps? I think it's
Something
about
like that.
40%.
Hold on, but again, it took 3 straight touchdowns against Buffalo on national television for people to be like, this defense is garbage.
But what we don't know
trash.
is what we still don't know is because they will never tell us this. Were those all Daniel's fault, or was someone else supposed to do something? And he just ends up being the guy who's out there.
I think
I know what you think, but I don't know. We don't know anything.
But here's the thing, as I mentioned, Steve Spagnuolo, he has been a head coach. When you looking at film and you see a weak link, are you not going to tell your quarterback, hey, when you see number 49, that YDB, you go directly at him? That's exactly what they did against Buffalo, and they did it in a few other games as well. I mean, but maybe someone else was supposed to be rolling. I just don't know the answer. I know what we make judgments on, but I mean, who's been a worse player this year and been living up to what you expect from them? You expect nothing of Daniel Sorensen, right? Well, that's not true, because if you're a starter, you
well, he's not really a starter. He's just a guy.
Not anymore. He's not a starter anymore.
He shouldn't have been a starter probably to begin with.
That's the whole
but
point.
who has not lived up to their potential as much this year on this team? I can name you like 5 guys.
Mahomes is probably number 1.
Patrick Mahomes,
Tyreek
Hill,
Tyrann Mathieu to an extent.
Tyrann Mathieu to an extent.
Juan Thornhill to an extent. He should have taken this job and ran with it. Juan Thornhill's still throwing tackles here and there.
Frank Clark.
I know you love Juan Thornhill. I love Juan Thornhill too, but Juan Thornhill's not what I thought he was going to be.
No. It's
Orlando Brown.
Orlando Brown Jr. is probably number 1 or 2.
But the fun. No, I'm just saying it's so interesting that fans pile. I'm not defending this guy. I'm just saying they pile on this guy, and he's just a dude. Orlando Brown, they traded for, and they're going to have to owe him a whole bunch of money.
20+
Frank
mil,
Clark,
probably.
they traded for. Patrick Mahomes has a $500 million contract, right? Chris Jones has a monster contract, and everyone hates Daniel Sorensen.
Because no one has seen a boom or bust player as a you know, like boom or bust wide receivers. That's extremely common, dime a dozen.
I'm not letting that Juan Thornhill comment go.
I'm just saying it's rare to see boom or bust saves. Why? I like Juan Thornhill. I still think Juan Thornill's going to be great. He's not lived up to what I thought he was going to be. He's a second-round pick.
This is a real question.
Yeah.
If Juan Thornhill was good enough to play, why on earth would they have not played him early in the year?
Again, that's where I was going, because that's the Steve Spagnuolo. Because obviously, according because you've been there, according to what Spags has said, or maybe Andy Reid said it, that in practice during training camp, Sorensen looked better. Now, again, I don't know how that translates, because during the preseason games, Juan Thornhill was looking good during the actual game.
Yeah, preseason. Who knows who's playing?
But
do you think Steve Spagnuolo wants to win?
Yes.
There's no hesitation. The answer is yes. Well, they obviously want to play the better player. So something was going on with Juan Thornhill. Something was happening.
Okay, but just like you said, it was preseason. What was going on during the games that was happening that they finally realized?
Why do we
he's
think
looking this bad that we got to put this guy in, whether he's looking bad in practice or not?
Perhaps that Frank Clark wasn't playing well, and it makes more pressure on the defensive backfield. Perhaps Chris Jones missed some games because he hurt his wrist and wasn't playing the defensive backfield. I mean, Juan Thornhill could have gone out there and gotten his ass burned too when they couldn't get a pass rush and they couldn't do anything. I don't know.
Well, Frank Clark missed the first game.
The defense has become
Tyrann Mathieu missed the first game.
Missed first game.
The defense
and Frank Clark was hurt. His little his hip, his hamstring. I'm just saying,
pass rush solves almost everything.
I just think he's interesting.
But when you go there again, we have been saying, Chris Jones played outside the first game and had 2 sacks, but then
not to the very, very end.
They
were getting their butts drummed early in the game.
When I say we, I'm talking about.
I think I agree with you, but I'm just saying that I think there are too many things to just say it's Juan Thornhill over Daniel Sorensen, because there's about 17 things that happen with injuries, and right now this team is as healthy defensively as they've been all year long. And they're playing a whole lot better.
That's fine. I do want to say.
I just think he's interesting.
I do say Daniel, so he's making $2.3 million. So I know
how much money has he made his whole career?
2.3 to 20 mil.
I thought he had a $20 million contract.
No, look it up. It's on Spotrac probably. What's his career earnings?
Not a year.
Not in a year. Nobody. He said his career.
Don't say nobody. They got guys making $20 million this year.
Literally 3 guys on the Chiefs are making $20+ million this year.
Yeah.
Career earnings. Let's see here. Career earnings. He's made $15 million. He's made $20 million.
So less than what Frank Clark made this
Will
year.
earn. And so right now he's made $15 million.
Well, I say will earn because he hasn't been paid the rest of the season.
Right. So he could get cut too.
20. He's not going to cut now, but he
could.
$20.4 million.
So less than Frank Clark in 1 year.
Okay.
Less than Chris Jones in 1 year.
I mean, that's just my point. It's so odd that this is the guy who is just cursed by everyone. He's gonna end up making $20.4 million in his whole career, and he doesn't have a contract for next year. He's probably gonna be gone next year, and that's a lot of money. I'm not saying that's not a lot of money, but by NFL standards, for a guy who played 7 years
as a starter for a majority of them,
that's pretty crazy to me.
I mean, he didn't start making money until 2018.
Yeah, that's my point. There are people who get not anymore because the signing bonuses aren't that big. What was Eric Berry's signing bonus when he got drafted? Dude got drafted when they were still giving out the fat ones, right? And he's not Eric Berry, whatever. I'm just saying, I mean, you get more money to sign your name on a piece of paper before you ever play a snap than a guy's made his whole life. He's just an interesting guy to me. I just think it's a weird dynamic that the world has with Daniel Sorensen.
But I don't want people to think I'm hating on Sorensen because
I don't want people to think I'm loving on him.
He came through the clutch last night, and I told him as such while he was at the podium. I said, look, everybody's hoopla about your 75-yard interception return. I'm appreciative because of your 2-point conversion play that you stopped. I had a live bet. Chiefs, and then, if the total would be 32 and under, it was 31 points. If they score, I'm losing money. He stopped them at the goal line and kept them out the end zone. Chiefs didn't have to worry about scoring anymore, and then he kept, so it was 31 points total. So I told Daniel last night, selfishly, thank you. I'm grateful for you. So I don't want, I don't want people to think I be just attacking the man for the sheer fact I just attacked the man because he got burnt for 3 touchdowns and he cost the team money, cost me money. It's a difference. When it's a personal thing, I take it personally.
You just care about your pocketbook. I get it.
Well, most people do. But be that as it may, though, the Chiefs won 5 games in a row. Again, last night was probably if there was ever a time when you could have one of those wins that you just didn't feel good about.
The last 4 of the last 5 wins have felt like that. The only one that did was the Raiders game?
Not the Cowboys game felt good because I like seeing my brother.
19-9.
No. I'm saying I like seeing my brother and Cowboys fans in misery. So that felt good to me selfishly. But just again, we look at the game last night. The offense stunk up the place. It was, I don't want to say it on air what I was doing, but let's just say the game left a lot to be desired. And you look at the AFC West. The Raiders lost yesterday. Of course, they come in town on Sunday. The Chargers, you don't know which team is going to show up. The team that lost to the who they played, I guess the Broncos last week, or the one that shows up.
Killed the Bengals.
Yeah, killed the
Bengals.
Bengals.
The Bengals and the Chargers, I think, are the same team where they can beat anyone any given week and they can lose anyone any given week. Yeah, they're the same
Jekyll
team.
and Hyde.
Yeah.
What does Kansas City need to do offensively? Well, what do they need to do, period? And
it's
crazy.
They're
it's
taping
crazy
bricks
that
to their hand.
I'm sorry?
They're taping bricks to their hand.
They're
They need to tell the receivers, you don't have to tape bricks or eat buttered popcorn before games.
That's really
an issue.
Weird. There's been, I guess, 7 of these plays now that have hit the receiver's hands or whatever. And one of them was like Marcus Kemp and it was behind him.
I think I remember hitting the
But the others are freaking Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. These are 2 of the finest receiving players in the National Football League, not for like a week or something.
I can't call them elite receivers this year.
No, they're not.
Okay. I just want, and look, I tweeted this out yesterday, and Sterling, you can tell me if I'm wrong or not, but for me, it seems like they're not focused. And this is not the same team that, and I do plan on bringing this. So this is what I was talking to you about earlier, Leabo, where when I asked either Patrick or Andy, I don't see the same focus on this team that I saw 2019 when they knew that they were this close to get to Super Bowl against New England, that they were singly focused on trying to get back to Super Bowl. Last year, even during COVID, they were singly focused on trying to get back to the Super Bowl, but also to do the things that was necessary to not put themselves in a position where you have an outbreak or have a Baltimore or Tennessee Titans situation where you have an outbreak and they have to reschedule games, stuff like that. This year, it seems like, and you could just be some recent, but Tyreek is more focused on trying to race Usain Bolt versus catching footballs. Travis Kelce, he talks about getting the swagger back, but then the next couple of weeks, we don't, the man is lost. And somewhere, somehow, some way, I'm not seeing any accountability. They talk about, that Patrick talk about having the confidence in his players, but with all these drop passes, where's the accountability? Are they spending extra time on the jug machines? I mean, is he spending extra time throwing passes to these receivers to where you're trying to right the wrong? And I'm just not seeing it, because you're either coaching it or you're allowing it. And the fact that all these drop passes, and then you talk about, well, we'll coach them out. Well, you keep saying the same thing, but the same thing keeps happening, because as you mentioned, seven passes that have hit the player's hands, tipped up in the air, have been intercepted. Those are 7 lost possessions for the Kansas City Chiefs. And not saying that everything is Patrick's fault, but those, when he's put them in the breadbasket and they're still missing the passes, that can come back to haunt the Chiefs when it matters most. I was there in Baltimore, and we were here and against the Chargers. Those bad passes that they're doing, Patrick throwing passes that doesn't need to be thrown, taking a sack, players mishandling the football, getting the ball intercepted. Chiefs have been lucky right now to where other teams are playing other teams that are knocking them off, where the Chiefs can eventually, hopefully, climb to number 1 in the conference. But if they don't, Chiefs got to get their stuff cleaned up before the playoffs start, because if you're still playing this way as you get into the playoffs, it's going to be hard for us to see them going to the Super Bowl, no matter how good the defense is playing.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I don't know why players drop balls. I don't know.
Pause.
I think it's like a
certain age in middle school, typically.
It is, I guess, got it like everything, got to be a combination of something. Some of those aren't perfect passes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Course.
Like the one last night, Patrick said it was too high, too hard. Pause.
Sure.
So I think of the one against Washington, Tyreek slipped and fell and jumped up. So he's a little off.
Yeah, I get
on that one. I think the one against the Bills was inexcusable. That was not a slip or a fall. That ball looked good. Bad fortune that it bounced right into someone's hands for a pick six. Okay. There's always a little something. And I don't know, coincidence, luck, karma, whatever. I don't know what is real in the world. I don't know what you believe in, what your God is, what your thought of the universe is. But this team and this quarterback had a bunch of really good fortune for like 3 years. I mean, you think back to the 4th and whatever against Baltimore in 19, where he just runs around and throws the ball 50 yards down the field, and Tyreek Hill comes out of nowhere and catches it. That does not happen. Those aren't real plays that happen to people. And that's not the only one. They had a lot of plays like that where you're like, how did that happen? Are you kidding me? This happened. This team was down 24 points to nothing in a playoff game and came back and won it by 20 points. They had a lot of things go right. Now, listen, I'm not taking anything away from Patrick Mahomes of this offense, but they had a lot of balls that bounced their way, that went the right way for him, that weird passes where he would just take shots and throw them up and someone would catch him. I mean, even this year, the only one good game he's had the last half of the year, he just threw crap up to Darrell Williams in Vegas and he caught it. That ball should be intercepted. That is a poorly thrown ball at a bad time, thrown up in the air, and a running back goes down there and just mosses somebody. That does not happen. So they've had a whole lot of that. This is the first time in his career in the National Football League that he's had some bad luck.
Yeah, man, it's the 2 games in a row. He's not thrown a touchdown pass.
First time in his career since being in college. He didn't have a 2-game stretch as a starting quarterback in college where he didn't throw a touchdown. So he hasn't had that. And it's not even just that part. It's just the interceptions too. Ball bouncing off people's hands. And how many times in his career so far have you seen him? I think he sees the penalties, right? The false starts, the holding penalty on a defensive back where something ended up getting not picked off because the flag was down. A handful of those, a lot of those things. Last year, we've talked before about the video that someone put together. I don't think this number is exactly accurate because I don't think all these were interceptable balls. There was a deal where 19 dropped interceptions last year.
There weren't 19. I watched that.
Those
same
were tough.
thing.
Like last night, everyone's like, "Oh, Teddy Bridgewater should have thrown 4 interceptions." Nah,
Diving, dude. There's a reason why they're cornerbacks and they're
right.
playing.
The
they're
one
not wide
that
receivers.
Charvarius Ward running deep should have caught it.
Sure.
Willie Gay probably better than 50-50 should have caught it.
Okafor almost had a big man pick six.
But the one where Charvarius Ward dives in front of that's not a play that I mean.
Well, at least 3 then.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. 3, but not
I think
4.
Okafor could have had one too.
But like Charvarius Ward running and diving forward. I mean, for crying out loud, Tyreek Hill can't even catch the ball. We're expecting Charvarius Ward to make that play. You know what I mean? So it's hard to say what is a quote-unquote interceptable pass. But Patrick Mahomes this year has had the bad side of balls that should be intercepted by the other team. They've been caught. Last year, he had the good side, right? He threw 6 last year or 5 last year.
I think 5 or 6.
5.
I think it was 6.
6 the year before 5, one of the years. But he shouldn't have thrown 24 last year. All 19 of those couldn't have been picked. But what if half of them got picked? Then you're sitting there at 13. And that's like, okay, well, that's what you expect from someone. His quarterback rating is 92 right now. That's still top 10. But you've expected him to be 1 or 2 in quarterback rating. His quarterback rating since week 4. He had a really good statistical start, not winning games, but statistical start. His quarterback rating since week 4 is like 81. That's Davis Mills' number.
Well, yeah.
That's well below Jared Goff.
That's not good.
It's not good, but they're winning games.
Jared Goff, we should probably speak about.
Check that video as a girlfriend watching that game-winning catch.
Oh wow! Well, look, let's take a quick time, and when we come back, we will look at what happened in the NFL over the weekend. Of course, Pittsburgh beating Baltimore helped the Chiefs out. Of course, the playoff race outside of New England, who didn't even play and became the number 1 team in the AFC. Talk about all that and look at tonight's game between Buffalo and New England. Keep it locked in to Darren and Sterling right here on ESPN Kansas City.
What's up, Kansas City? Jake Gutierrez here to tell you about my friends from Lightstream, a division of SunTrust Bank. Are you thinking about the high interest rate credit cards you used over the holidays? I am. When it comes to refinancing your credit cards, you've got options, but only Lightstream was ranked number 1 by J.D. Power for customer satisfaction with personal loans. Lightstream's credit card consolidation loans start at just 5.95% APR with auto pay and excellent credit. You could save yourself thousands in interest. You can even get your money the same day that you apply. Apply today for a credit card consolidation loan from the company J.D. Power, ranked number 1 for customer satisfaction and personal loans. Plus, get an additional interest rate discount simply by going to lightstream.com/Jake. It's lightstream.com/Jake. Subject to credit approval, rates range from 5.95% APR to 19.99% APR, include 0.50% auto pay discount. Lowest rates require excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Jake for more information.
In these trying times, Kansas City Credit Union knows how important cash flow is in your household. With rates near all-time lows, now's the time to take action. Free up some cash by lowering your monthly car loan payment when you refinance your auto loan with Kansas City Credit Union. And as a bonus, Kansas City Credit Union will delay your payments for 90 days. Visit kansascitycreditunion.com/810sports for more information. Kansas City Credit Union, your path to financial freedom.
Space Camper Cosmic IPA is a juicy hop blast of flavor. Citrusy and balanced, this is an IPA with a mission to save the earth because it's the only planet with beer. You might not know it, but Boulevard Brewing Company has been passionate about taking care of our planet for decades. Between their zero-waste brewery to Ripple Glass, Boulevard has been making great beer you can feel great about. Stock up on Space Camper Cosmic IPA today. Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City, Missouri.
A KC tradition since 1957 and voted the best steak in Kansas City, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. Go to HerefordHouse.com for hours, new menu items, and to make your reservations. Follow Hereford House on Facebook and Instagram for exclusive specials. Hereford House, voted Kansas City's favorite steakhouse.
Cupini's reminds us that many children will be forgotten this holiday season, and many families in our community need help. Let's open our hearts by donating a toy or two at a local toy drive. This community reminder was a courtesy of Cupini's Fresh Pasta and Panini. at 1809 Westport Road in Kansas City. They're a great place for a special dinner, food, gifts, and catering for your special dinners. Call 816-753-7662 or visit them online at cupinis.com. That's 816-753-7662.
Hi, Ollie Gates here. The Gates family would like to say thank you for allowing us to serve you for 75 years, a milestone which would not have been possible without your support. Thanks again, and remember, whatever the case may be, keep the faith.
Shazam. Go for it.
Bad Company.
Look at me like I'm supposed to know that.
Shooting Star. It didn't take him long.
You know, Bad Company.
How the hell you go? No, I
Play
Bad
every night.
I've seen the movie Bad Company. Chris Rock.
And everything's
I think it might be a little
alright.
different.
Don't you know? Don't you know? It ends bad for Johnny. He just bottle of sleeping tablets by his head. You know, got too high. Don't you know you're a shooting star? Gotta watch out.
Wait, have you guys seen the weather in Buffalo tonight?
I saw 55-mile-an-hour gusts. We thought it was windy last night.
I just saw.
I should have made it a 6-leg parlay then.
Yeah.
I saw
don't know.
a video, and the goalposts looked like they were about to get blown over. I'm not exaggerating. I've not seen wind affect goalposts like this, and I'm very nervous because I need Nick Folk to give me 14 points to clinch a fantasy football spot.
Oof.
Thank you, Urban Meyer, for deciding to pull your best player because he fumbled, and then Carlos Hyde proceeded to fumble.
Yeah, here's the video.
Oh, dude, it's wild.
I'm telling you. See, now you're really.
It was really windy at Arrowhead last night, and I think it really affected the game. The Chiefs had 38 yards of offense going into the win yesterday. And there was only 107 yards of offense total going
really
into the win
nervous
out of
now
the
'cause I had the
600
over
yards
in
of
tonight's
offense
game.
there were last night.
I think that people sometimes underestimate throwing the ball in wind because when you see the snow, you obviously understand, oh, that's tough for a quarterback to throw it. But if it's snowing with not a whole bunch of wind, it's not that bad. It's that wind. When you get that and you're trying to throw a deep ball, that ball's getting blown all the way around. I golfed yesterday. And golfing, the wind was brutal. I couldn't imagine trying to throw a football and trying to be precise 40 yards downfield.
Yeah, but I mean, if you got a strong arm, I mean, in that
No, I don't care. I get it. Golf balls.
we don't care about what you care about. We didn't care about you golfing yesterday, but you sure bragged about it just
Sure
now.
had a couple birdies.
Okay.
I was taking advantage. Wind at your back. Those par fives are easy.
I've got a 5-leg parlay.
The only touchdown, there weren't a lot of touchdowns last night, but Daniel Sorensen scored his touchdown into the wind. That helped. He was running. There was nothing else happened on
and the
it.
wind was pushing him because he ran a lot
faster. 4-3.
I feel bad if like, people had tickets down by the tunnel, and you got to see the players walk out. All you got to see was Daniel Sorensen run your way. Everything else happened the other end of the field because the wind. I guess, there was a missed PAT that way. And the Chiefs did have a field goal that way after they had they stalled the drive. But it was really windy. This wind in Buffalo is legit. Now, maybe it'll kind of go down a little bit when the sun goes
let's
down.
cool down, man. Let's let Nick Folk get some
You're making me really nervous now about my parlay because
Is the parlay passing yards?
No, my parlay is the score going over 41 tonight.
Oh, I have over 40 now. It dropped already down to 40.
Okay,
I said
well,
over 40 still seems like okay.
Well, I mean, when you talk about the
Run
win,
the
because I'm
football.
thinking, yeah, well, I mean, you can. I mean, if you had Jonathan Taylor, I guess you could probably still get 41 points.
The Patriots have like 4 running backs. They just go, who's going to be good this game?
Well, I need to know if you think this parlay is gonna win. So if you got over, so okay, I feel comfortable now because you got the over as well. But I got the total 41 over. I got Philadelphia 76ers minus 6.5.
Oh, you're going multi-sport, huh?
Well, yeah.
Against Charlotte?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, because Charlotte, they should be without their players with the COVID. Chicago Bulls minus 3.5 over the Denver Nuggets.
No, Nugs all the way.
No, you haven't seen how they play.
Bulls are
Shut up,
legend.
see,
I don't know about
that's
3.5.
wrong,
The
Leabo.
Bulls like to do something where they make every single game down to the wire, and then DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine or someone else hit
That's
Lonzo
actually
Ball.
that's the only thing that worries me about the next game. Minus 6.5 Milwaukee Bucks because the Cleveland Cavaliers They play teams much more tighter.
Cavs are like 500 this year. Believe that, Leabo? I know you don't watch a lot of NBA.
They got a good squad.
Could you
And
believe
they drafted
that
well.
the Cavs, who were maybe the worst team in the NBA last year, are 500?
Hey, they're on it, man.
Then I've got
Let's go Cavs.
Then I've got Phoenix.
Who's the Cav?
Why are you talking about my legs?
Who's the Cav?
Because he's showing his legs off
Calf.
over here on the
That's a
on the
calf.
chair. Then my last one, Phoenix Suns -7.5 over San Antonio.
Dude, I don't bet on the NBA because you never know.
Fool, you the man one that told me to bet the NBA when you got me on this website. Oh, I always pick the over. I ain't even go that route.
Well, then the under's been hitting it this
Under's
year.
been
But
hitting a lot.
see, Leabo, I try to tell Darren, life is too short to bet the under.
True.
What fun is it going?
Except maybe tonight in Buffalo with this wind.
What? No, I still want the over. What? How fun is it to be like, oh yeah, I love
Hold on.
rooting for.
What I feel bad
teams to
about is
not
now I feel like
score.
I got to invest $20 of my real money to go the opposite direction to cover myself. So actually, $20 I put on this 5-leg parlay. If it hits, $480.
What do you think, Leibs?
I'm rooting for Darren.
We always root
See,
for
that's-
Darren.
that's- see,
we
see, that's the type of
always root
teammate.
for Darren.
That's-
Well, you put $20 on this.
No, it was free money. I have
Okay.
free money, and so
Hey, Leabo, it's free money.
Well, it is free money
Take
because it's not coming out of my actual account. Then I got again. That's what Dan Sorensen won me last night. I ain't messing with
Dan
that one.
Sorensen, Dirty Dan's money.
He ain't getting none of it, but yeah. So because I started to go all in on this. I started to go all in on the game. I was going to go New England Patriots -3. I was going to take them straight up and the over. But now
Patriots are +3.
that's what I'm saying. I was going to take them +3. No. So you got shut up. I said I'd take them straight up. I said straight up, man. Because I was going to buy points, but I was like, man, I don't want to buy points in that takes. Because I bought points yesterday when it came to the Raiders and they lost. So I was like, they were favorites. And so I said, okay, let me go buy 3 points. So they're now +1.5 and they lost by 2. I said,
Why would you ever bet on the Raiders? That's just
no.
bad
Well,
bet.
no, you
That's
know, you
a
kind of got to
bad
cover
bet,
yourself.
Darren.
Nah, it wasn't bad.
It looks
But-
bad, doesn't it?
But looking at tonight's game, though, again, you talked about his 55-mile-an-hour wind. It could, lower itself by the time the game starts tonight. But looking at this, though, if you think about it, New England, they've come out of nowhere, won 6 games in a row. They're now number 1 in the AFC due to Baltimore losing their game against the Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday. Tennessee Titans, I think they were off yesterday, but the Baltimore Ravens, they lost. They're number 3. Chiefs are number 4. Chiefs would have obviously moved up, but since they lost to both the Titans, the Ravens, and they lost to the Bills from underneath them, they're kind of stuck in that area, that gray area right now. How does this unfold? Who wins tonight's game? Is it the Bills? Is it the Patriots? What say you all? Because the Patriots go on break next week.
Yeah, and then they play the Bills again. So the Patriots haven't beaten a bunch of great teams, but they're winning games, right? So they've got confidence.
Didn't they beat the Titans?
Yeah, well, the Titans without Derrick Henry, right?
Yeah, that is
And
true.
without Julio and without they're
Well,
they're
they've been
banged. Yeah,
decimated.
but they're banged up. Tennessee does not look good.
The question for Buffalo is they felt like they vanquished the beast last year. Are they scared that the beast is back? And can they mentally get over Georgia, Alabama, right? You know what I mean? It's kind of like that.
The beast when the beast was without 7, 8 of their defensive players. Now they're back.
Well, and they vanquished the beast when
Cam
touchdown
Newton.
Tom was down there.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
So it's different. So what is mentally, are we dealing with the Georgia Bulldogs here in Buffalo? You know what I mean? And is this the Bama Patriots coming up here? So I think mentally this is a really interesting game. And these weather conditions are going to be wild to watch. It's going to be pretty crazy. Now they're used to weird weather up there, right? But this is ungodly wind. It's going to be crazy to see this game go down. Will people jumping on tables get blown off course and just hit their backs on the ground in the parking lot?
Good question.
Is the Bills Mafia in trouble? Do they have to account for the wind?
Well, they're probably good.
I mean,
up there. They've done
it's their
this.
home game. If the Bills don't win this game, put a fork in them. Okay. There's a lot on this game, and I know it's only one, blah, 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 blah. But if you're already behind the freaking Patriots after you thought you were the cream of the AFC when you came into Arrowhead and won, right?
And it doesn't get any easier next week because you travel to Tampa Bay.
Yes. And then they play the Patriots again, right?
They play the Panthers, but then
Yeah,
then they travel.
3 of the next 4 are against the Patriots and the old Patriots or whatever. I don't know, Tom and everybody.
And by the way, Gronk had 2 touchdowns last
And they
night.
throw him like 3
yesterday.
passes a game
Yeah.
and he just catches touchdowns.
But then the flip side is again now, as we talked about, for Kansas City to get the number 1 seed, Patriots have to at least lose. Well, Patriots
have to lose a game.
Patriots, Ravens, as well as the Titans. Now, again, I can see a scenario where the Patriots split, where they split.
As long as Tampa beats Buffalo, that's good news for the Chiefs.
Exactly.
Right?
And then now, but they could also, they could also clam up against the Indianapolis Colts. Now that's going to be the deal for them because they go again, they go Bills, then they go bye, then they go Colts, and then they go Bills. Once again, the Bills is the same day as Chiefs and the Steelers. So we get to watch that game first and then see what happens with the Chiefs, see if they handle their business against the Steelers. But do you see the Patriots winning out, or do you see them losing one?
I really want to see him play a quality team on the road tonight. Is what I want to see. So I guess check me at 10:30 tonight.
Yeah,
and I'll see what I think.
Which is why
they're
I
on a hot streak
instead of a winner. Hey, I'm sure.
I expect the Bills should win this game. If the Bills think they're who they think they are, they better win this game.
Well, they have to. Well, but you know what though? I will say this is also where Josh Allen, Sterling's boy, better show up.
I'm rocking with the Bills this game.
This guy thinks he's the MVP or something.
I'm rocking with and this weather.
How about you win your division again?
Sure, but the reason why I'm rocking with the Bills too, Josh Allen, even if he doesn't throw the ball,
he's gonna run it.
He's gonna run it. He's 6'5". He's Cam Newton sized.
Yeah,
he bullies dudes. I mean, you think Mac Jones is gonna start running with the football?
But here's
they'll just sit there and run the ball with guys you never heard of. That's what they do.
Yeah, Ramondre Stevenson.
Sterling, in case you forget, in case you don't remember, he says about Belichick all the time, he will take away your greatest strength. Now, they're without Tre'Davious White, so he's out. But now, are they going to take away Josh? They're going to take away Josh Allen and his ability to get the ball to Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley? Or are they going to focus on him to make sure that because we don't expect him to run as it is. And so when he does run, you got a defensive team whose players have played together for a number of years. You don't think that they're going to be looking at and they want him to run so they can hit him well, treat him as a running back? You don't think that that's what they want? They want them to run. Did they want Josh Allen to run?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Not in this weather. You're gonna try and
you need to answer for yourself. You and Josh Allen and Matthew Stafford. I mean, all your big bold calls have done nothing so far. You said Missouri was going to win the SEC in basketball.
I did not say that. I said Mizzou was horrendous at basketball. I said they should fire Kwanzaa Martin before. I said they should have fired Martin last year.
I heard you said this is the year.
I can pull the tweets up because I wanted Martin fired last year.
If you keep talking, we will make sure that you are front row Saturday for that ass kicking that you're going to be getting at the hands of KU.
I said they're going to lose by 50.
Why do you want to go watch it?
It's not enough.
I don't know. The off chance Mizzou keeps it a 20-point game.
You know why he wants to go? Weather didn't look good golf on Saturday,
Right.
It's going to be too cold.
You got to find an excuse to get out the house.
No one looks at the weather more than Sterling.
Well, yeah.
Sunday, he looks at the weather like an old man.
Well, Sunday's supposed to be decent, but it's supposed to be.
What's your
cool
rain gauge say at home? You got a rain gauge?
I did a rain gauge.
See,
we've
he's
had
like
no
an
rain.
80-year-old man.
We've had zero rain.
21 days.
Understand
and we're not supposed to have any for the next 7.
Understand something. And I've talked to Leabo about this. I am debating amongst myself, no one else but myself, whether or not to let you use my credential for the game Saturday, because it's a matter. Because see, Harold, I'm in the KCABJ, and we're having our Christmas and our meeting at Gates. It's kind of all you can eat type thing. I'm talking about Gates, all you can eat.
How many ribs you think? What's the over under? I
don't know. It's probably gonna be 4.
4 slabs?
Huh? Oh no! I thought that's how many ribs we need. I'm just talking about four bones.
You're only gonna eat 4 ribs.
Yeah, no.
Well, again, because see, if I
all
go,
you can eat.
If I go to the game, because me and her got to cover the game. If I go, got to eat and run. Can't stick around.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying. But if I decide at the kindness of my heart that I want to allow Sterling an early Christmas gift, to go out there and to watch his team, his alma mater, get mollywopped. Then, I'll make that decision.
When are you going to hold that over his head? Friday?
It will have to be Friday.
Well, he's got to make plans. He's got to golf. He's got to make arrangements for people to come care for his estate, all these things.
My estate.
I still believe
know where I
Sterling owes
live.
me- Hold on, I still believe Sterling owes me for picking the over with KU winning.
We
Plus,
don't. We bet on all three. I told you this.
I still believe that
It was
you were
KU,
here.
Mizzou, and K-State, and I went 1 for 3. K-State was, I think, the only
Those are odds
one.
I would not be repeating if I were you.
I think I went over on all three of them. Did they all make it or no?
I think
Did Missouri not make it. Missouri didn't.
Missouri
make
was under, K-State
Yeah.
was over, and KU was over. So
Yeah.
I was
I
the
missed
only one.
Missouri.
The only one I made was
it.
K-State.
Missouri failed me.
Well, look,
Oh,
we
they've
got
always failed.
to
I
take
should
a quick
know by
timeout
now.
because we got bills to pay. Take a timeout when we come back. Do want to get your thoughts on Sunday's game between the Chiefs and the Raiders, as this is Raiders week here in Kansas City. You're listening to Darren and Sterling right here on ESPN Kansas City.
In these trying times, Kansas City Credit Union knows how important cash flow is in your household. With rates near all-time lows, now's the time to take action. Free up some cash by lowering your monthly car loan payment when you refinance your auto loan with Kansas City Credit Union. And as a bonus, Kansas City Credit Union will delay your payments for 90 days. Visit kansascitycreditunion.com/810sports for more information. Kansas City Credit Union, your path to financial freedom.
Coopini's reminds us that many children will be forgotten this holiday season, and many families in our community need help. Let's open our hearts by donating a toy or two at a local toy drive. This community reminder was a courtesy of Coopini's Fresh Pasta and Panini at 1809 Westport Road in Kansas City. They're a great place for a special dinner, food, gifts, and catering for your special dinners. Call 816-753-7662 or visit them online at Coopinis.com. That's 816-753-7662.
A KC tradition since 1957 and voted the best steak in Kansas City, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. Go to HerefordHouse.com for hours, new menu items, and to make your reservations. Follow Hereford House on Facebook and Instagram for exclusive specials. Hereford House, voted Kansas City's favorite steakhouse.
Boulevard believes in easy indulgence. That's why they decided to put Tank 7 in cans. Their distinctly American twist on a classic Belgian-style farmhouse ale takes its name from the notoriously unpredictable fermenter where the signature beer's perfect combination of ingredients first came to life. You could call it fate. Their brewers call it Tank 7. Grab a 4-pack and treat yourself to a Tank 7 today. You deserve it. Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City, Missouri.
What's up, Kansas City? Jake Gutierrez here to tell you about my friends from Lightstream, a division of SunTrust Bank. Are you thinking about the high interest rate credit cards you used over the holidays? I am. When it comes to refinancing your credit cards, you've got options, but only Lightstream was ranked #1 by J.D. Power for customer satisfaction with personal loans. Lightstream's credit card consolidation loans start at just 5.95% APR with auto pay and excellent credit. You could save yourself thousands in interest. You can even get your money the same day that you apply. Apply today for a credit consolidation loan from the company J.D. Power, ranked #1 for customer satisfaction and personal loans. Plus, get an additional interest rate discount simply by going to lightstream.com/Jake. It's lightstream.com/Jake. Subject to credit approval, rates range from 5.95% APR to 19.99% APR, include 0.50% auto pay discount. Lowest rates require excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Jake for more information.
Welcome back to Darren and Sterling here on ESPN Kansas City.
Maggie May,
94.5.
Rod Stewart, you know that one.
I know who
Maggie,
Rod Stewart is.
you've heard of Rod Stewart, see?
He's the dude with the gold hair, right?
Yeah, see? He's
It's
like
late
87.
September, and I really should get back to school.
How old is Rod
What
Stewart?
What this is?
apologize to our
This is a
listeners.
cougar story. This is an older woman taking advantage of a young man in college.
I've had that happen to me.
See,
When I was
you
in
got
high
Maggie
school.
May. You got Maggie May.
I got Maggie May when I was in high school.
See, yeah.
And in college. And I'm very grateful for it. Very grateful for it. But
76. Dude is 76.
Oh, wow.
well, she wasn't 76, thankfully. But
I saw Rod Stewart in concert because we had a foreign exchange student live in my house and he wanted to go see Rod Stewart. So I saw Rod Stewart in concert when I was in high school.
well, hold on. Just because you had a fun thing live with you doesn't mean you had to go. see
No,
it.
I wouldn't. It was a good show. Whatever, it's fine.
Nah, but I'm
It wasn't my cup of tea. particularly.
He
when
was
it has
the
nice
former
Funny
one.
weather.
joke
Vegas.
because he's British. That's
Cup
pretty
of
good.
tea,
Yeah,
cup
that's
of
pretty-
tea, mate.
He was performing at the hotel I was at in Vegas at Caesar's Palace.
Is he doing a little stay out there like every night?
I
Yeah.
think he does one of those stays in Vegas. Like
Yeah.
that's his thing.
I ain't
Just
gonna
get
see
that
him,
money.
though.
He's probably good.
He probably was.
Probably
but
was good.
I wasn't gonna find out.
You didn't know the songs.
Do that, but I knew
You
who
know
he
that
was.
one.
I know now.
You know,
Sunday, Chiefs, Raiders,
Chiefs.
Raiders week.
Chiefs.
No
If they
doubt.
don't get right offensively against this team, then maybe they got some real problems. But I expect them to play. Maybe it won't be 41-14, but I expect them to.
Because
This
Raiders would
should
score 14.
this should be a much better performance. This should be more feel like what you want the Chiefs to play like.
Well, the good thing is they don't have a lot of time after Sunday's game because then they turn around and we got the Thursday night game.
It's go time then.
And I will be enjoying some good weather. I'll be on the golf course out there.
You don't golf.
No, I
Darren.
But
heard
they
it was
don't know
going to
that.
be.
They don't know that.
I heard. Excuse me. I hicked up. It's going to be like 40 and windy in LA. They said
Yeah, but it's in a dome.
Good
stadium.
luck golfing. You ain't golfing in 40 and wind.
it won't be 40 in
That
LA.
would be
You kidding? It was a
Oh,
lie.
thank
It'd be
goodness.
beautiful. Check your long ranger. It's going to be like 80
I know
degrees,
Florida's 75 and sunny right now.
but it's still Florida.
Leabo, thank you as always. We will do this again next week following the conclusion of the Chiefs Raiders game. Sterling, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll see whether or not my parlays were successful. Maybe I'll pick some player parlays and get you all some input a little bit later. But be sure to join myself, Steve Walls, Sean Tyler, DJ Q down at the Soiree tonight for the Red Hour at 6:30. And then tomorrow, of course, KU basketball. Get to see my first KU game of the year, Sterling. Live. Actually, I get the first time I see them in person and on television. So until then, thank you for tuning in. We are out of here.